man began to suspect that his boss might not even be human. Every time the boss walked across the glass floor upstairs, the panels creaked like they were under unbearable weight. It meant his body mass was far beyond normal. Even stranger, whenever the boss climbed the stairs to his office, he needed 2 employees to help him up. But once he reached the ground floor, he could suddenly walk like an athlete. Nick noticed all of this and came up with a dark idea, a way to kill his boss. That night, he wrote a program to simulate how much weight the glass floor could take before breaking. He was so focused on coding that he didn't notice the boss standing right behind him. To cover it up, Nick lied that he was developing a new game. He quickly improvised a game pitch on the spot. Unexpectedly, the boss loved the idea. He ordered Nick to finish the game overnight. The next day, after a quick test run, the boss even made it the company's project of the year. Just like that, Nick went from almost being fired to becoming the boss's new favorite. To reward him, the boss invited Nick out late at night to a mysterious private club. Before going in, the boss pushed him into a side room and handed him a new outfit. When Nick finally entered the club, his jaw dropped. The place was full of gorgeous men and women, all dressed like they walked straight out of a magazine. Before Nick could process it, the boss patted him on the shoulder and said, "Everything tonight's on me." Then he walked away. Nick barely had time to react before a beautiful woman waved at him. He hurried over, trying to sound confident, but her expression was off. Before he could even start a conversation, the boss suddenly appeared, interrupting them. The two seemed unusually close, so Nick assumed she was the boss's woman and stepped back politely. When he returned later, the woman was gone. Only the boss remained. Then the boss told him to help deliver something. Nick hesitated but agreed. Moments later, inside the car, he froze. What they were delivering wasn't cargo, it was a living person tied up and unconscious. Nick panicked, begging his boss to stop, but the man drove on as if nothing was wrong. Then flashing police lights appeared up ahead. Nick's heart nearly stopped. If the officers found the person in the back seat, they'd both go to prison for life. Fortunately, the cops waved them through without checking. At the next gas station, the boss went inside to pay. Nick quickly untied the person in the back seat. To his shock, it was the same woman from the club. As the boss returned, she whispered to Nick, "Be careful with your boss." Then she jumped out and disappeared into the night. The boss came back completely calm. He knew exactly what Nick had done, but instead of getting angry, he smiled. It had all been a test, to see if Nick was truly loyal. And since he failed, the boss tossed him out at the gas station without another word. Nick took a cab home, shaken and confused. But later that night, he remembered his clothes were still in the club's locker room. When he went back to retrieve them, he froze at the door. The luxurious club from last night was gone. In its place stood a plain, ordinary office.